Buckle up and get ready for a true revolution because the 2025 Toyota RAV4 has no right to be this good. Unrivaled design. It's undeniable that despite being a bit dated, the current generation RAV4 is still quite the looker. However, you can't deny that with its ostentatious and flamboyantly sharp design, it does stand out from Toyota's current lineup more than a bit. Toyotas as of recently have taken a much more subtle and elegant approach, allowing them to stand out from the crowd, which is getting increasingly tacky and over-designed. Just take a look at the Prius. It went from one of the ugliest vehicles on the market to one of the most beautiful ones. The upcoming RAV4 will not only be no different in this regard, but it will also amplify this approach even further. You can kiss the overbearing sharpness of the design goodbye, and in its place, you can expect a much more subtle design language. Toyota will take design cues and inspirations from its Crown lineup, which is in our opinion, one of the best looking series of vehicles currently on offer. The front end will boast the same C-shaped headlights that the Crown and the new Prius and CHR have. It is expected to have the same large but elegant grille design that the Toyota Crown has, granting the car not just an upmarket but a luxurious look. Furthermore, the side profile will also go through a major change as the RAV4 will have a more sloped rear end, which will make it look much sleeker than it does now. You can also expect the CHR's flush door handle design, which will make it even more classy to look at. Finally, the rear end will have a touch of retro elegance as it is expected to have a singular LED bar taillight, similar to the one found on the current gen Prius, which makes it look even more upmarket than it already is. The RAV4 will also grow up a bit, as the Toyota Corolla Cross technically already occupies the same spot as the RAV4. Sure, it won't be a full-on midsize SUV, however, it is expected to share its dimensions with the recently revealed Toyota Crown Sport, which as of now, is still a Japan-only vehicle. Incredible powertrain options. The outgoing Toyota RAV4 has had its fair share of powertrain options, and while most of them were exceptionally reliable, they were far from spectacular in any other way. Well, that's most certainly about to change with the new RAV4. First of all, the base 2.5 four-cylinder engine, which pushed out a very mediocre 203 horsepower in the outgoing model, will be dropped altogether, and in its place, we'll see a new 2.4-liter Turbo 4 engine. Yes, the same engine found in the 4Runner and the Tacoma, albeit it will be detuned from 280 horsepower to 240 horsepower. Still, this will make the RAV4 more than capable. Additionally, there has been mention that the smaller 2-liter engine which was found in the European version of the RAV4 will make a debut with the 2025 model year, albeit with a slight power increase from 170 to 180 horsepower. This engine is expected to be the standard engine on the lower trim levels, whereas the turbocharged 2.4 is reserved for mid and high trim levels. Now, the RAV4 Hybrid, which is endlessly popular, will retain its 2.5-liter engine-based powertrain. However, it will get around 20 horsepower more, which is always a good thing. Additionally, if the 2-liter engine cuts, you could also expect a less powerful but more frugal hybrid engine, with the aforementioned engine being its beating heart, more or less the same ordeal that can be found in the Toyota Prius. The plug-in hybrid is expected to remain unchanged in terms of performance. However, the electric autonomy is expected to receive an ever-so-slight buff, making it more appealing for those of us who are city commuters. Finally, there's also been mention of a Toyota GR RAV4, which is expected to utilize the 1.6-liter Turbo 3 engine, pushing out a little more than 300 horsepower. However, this is yet to be confirmed by Toyota. A truly premium interior. Let's face it, the RAV4's Achilles heel was its interior. Sure, the layout was pretty good and the ergonomics were fantastic, however the quality simply wasn't there, especially when compared to something like the Mazda CX-5 or CX-50. Well, Mazda better be on the lookout, as the new RAV4 is going straight for its throat when it comes down to the sheer quality of the interior. The new RAV4 will be almost completely covered with soft-touch materials on the inside, with the only exception being the lower door panels. However, this is expected in this segment. The higher echelons of the lineup will even have the top of the dashboard and the door elbow rests covered in faux leather. Furthermore, the interior design will be much more refined and much more elegant than what it is now, a functional yet boring place to be in. It will take quite a bit of inspiration from the Toyota Crown, and the key difference between it and regular Toyotas will also be the fact that you can opt for a much more colorful cabin. This will help the car feel both more spacious and more luxurious at the same time. Furthermore, all of the buttons and controls will remain physical, as Toyota has proven time and time again that they don't believe in an all-touchscreen layout. Plus, these buttons will become more tactile than before, adding to the feeling of quality. The seats will also be padded much better, with better profiling and side bolstering to improve comfort at both low and high speeds. Speaking of comfort, you could also expect the 2025 Toyota RAV4 to have phenomenal ride quality. One of the biggest turnoffs for many buyers of the Toyota RAV4 was how utterly dull and uninspiring it was to drive and be driven in. This has been a recurring theme since the first generation. The car was always uncommunicative, with very vague and artificial steering, as well as suspension that didn't do a whole lot to compensate for the vague steering. Furthermore, despite not being sporty, the RAV4's ride was always firm and crashy, which certainly wasn't helped by the previously underwhelming interior and seats. Thankfully though, this will no longer be the case. First of all, the steering wheel will be improved and the RAV4 will now have a bit heavier steering. It won't be more communicative, however, you'll still have a better feel for what your wheels are doing and where they're pointing. Furthermore, the suspension will also be improved, as the RAV4 will have stiffer springs and better shock absorbers that'll allow it less body roll and a generally much more pleasant driving experience. Now, with that in mind, you must be worried about the comfort of the RAV4. Well, don't be. You see, Toyota will give more thought when it comes to suspension dampening, which will make the car's ride much less crashy, especially when going across a pothole. Sure, it won't be the most comfortable car in the world, however, it will be a massive improvement over its predecessor, especially when taking into consideration the better padded seats that will be used. We expect it to sit somewhere between the Mazda CX-5 and the CX-50 when it comes down to comfort, which is pretty good to be honest. Unattainable price tag. Now, if you're worried that all of these aforementioned additions and features will significantly impact the price of the RAV4, don't worry. You see, Toyota has accounted for all of these changes, and to keep the price low, they've decided to expand the production of the RAV4 into other lesser developed countries, such as Turkey, for example. This is the same tactic they applied to the new Toyota CHR, which is unfortunately not available in the US. Now, sure, you shouldn't expect it to cost as little as it does now, as you will be getting a larger, much more practical, and much better built car than the previous generation Toyota RAV4. After all, the CHR2 costs a bit more than its predecessor. However, that price difference won't exactly be worlds apart. The Toyota RAV4 is expected to start somewhere around $35,000 for the base model, which will come with all the stuff you'll ever need. Soft seats, quite a bit of interior tech, and Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. Sure, you won't get leather or leatherette seats for the money, and the interior quality won't be as good as it is on the top-of-the-range model. However, you should still expect a soft-touch dash and upper door panels. That said, the higher trims will certainly be the stuff of dreams for most of us, as they'll offer both incredible features, powertrains, and fantastic quality. However, do expect to pay up to $50,000 for the non-hybrid version, and up to $55,000 for the plug-in hybrid, which admittedly is a bit steep. The GR's pricing is still unknown, however, if it does get released, we'd expect it to cost around the same as the plug-in hybrid. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.